Hello, welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. My name is Kim and today I'm going to be doing my January-February wrap-up. It's a bit late in the month, but I didn't have time before. So I'm going to start as usual from the ones I like the least to the one I like the most. So January was somewhat rough for a reading month, but February was really good. I succeeded in completing 7 books in 2 months, which for me is okay, it's average. And even if you can't complete all the books you wanted to read, at least I got to finish some, so it's great. So the one I liked the least of the books I read was The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It's the first book I tried from this author, so I'll tell you right away, it's not a bad book. It just wasn't for me. I'm a bit too old for this one, I think. It's I would call it more YA, I think. It's set in a fantasy world, like it's somewhat similar to France in the 19th century, I would say. Like there's aristocracy, debutantes, and all this, and this is where the action is set. There is some magic as well. The magic is mainly people who are magicians, but they use their gifts for entertainment. So they're like actual magicians and they do tricks on stage. I haven't seen it used for mostly anything else. The main character, Nina, is a young woman who is starting in society, and she's living with her uncle and her aunt by marriage. And her aunt is one of the queens of society. She's a beautiful woman, and she's also very seemingly perfect in what she does. And Nina is just there to do a season, but she's a magician, and she kind of wants to explore that as well. Mostly when she gets angry or when she gets emotional, that's when her powers come out, and it's a bit awkward, especially in the society she lives in. It's not really well regarded. And then our second main character is one of those magicians that has been traveling around showing his tricks, like performing. So he's made money at that, and he's coming back with an agenda. He's back in the city to conquer the woman he loved 15 years prior, and it's Nina's aunt, well, by marriage. That's it. It's pretty much a love triangle, I would call it, which is not my favorite thing. It can be done well, but in this case it just wasn't. The 2 main characters were all right, not compelling, and Nina is there. It reads a bit young, I would say. The emotions are not that deep, and it's mostly cliche, like the young girl who is a bit awkward, but she's not like other girls, and she's different, and the guy doesn't see that at first. He's in love with the ice queen, who is mean and vapid, but yeah, he loves her for some reason, and she kind of doesn't seem like she loves him, but maybe she does, who knows. And then he starts slowly but surely to get, oh, Nina is also special, but yeah, it was not my cup of tea. And also the magic was not part of the plot. It was just aesthetically there, I would say. So overall it had potential, but it just fell flat for me. I would kind of be interested to read another one by Silvia Moreno Garcia to make my idea about if I would like her other stuff or not. So if you haven't read anything by her that's a bit more grown up, I would say, just let me know, give me a recommendation. Because it was written well, and there was a lot of potential. But I would say if it's for younger audience, if a younger girl, because there's not smutty or anything, so I would say it's appropriate for a teenage girl, I would say. Or yeah, I would probably recommend that for myself at 15. I would probably have liked it then. So then I read The Time Machine. So I gave 3 stars to this, and I gave 3 stars to The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. That's kind of a bummer. I was really looking forward to this, and I think it's really well regarded. I like the movie better, the movie from the 1960s. I enjoyed that movie. But the main protagonist in this is just the most stupid genius ever, because you have to be a genius to invent a time machine, I would say. It's a prerequisite. But he's extremely dumb, so I don't see, like when he gets to where he's going, everything he does is so annoying. I was like, why are you doing this? Why? You should not be doing this. Like, why did you not bring weapons? You don't know where you're going. You're going into the future and you don't know what you're gonna get into, and you didn't bring anything that might be useful. And the only thing he brings that's useful are matches, and he just wastes them showing off to the locals. I mean, yeah. The thing that I really liked though about this was the Morlocks, because it's kind of scary. Like there are some scenes he goes down in some there's some underground tunnels, and there's like 2 people, the like little innocent ones who live out in the sun. They don't provide for themselves, but they're like just there to be cute and frolic. And then there's the Morlocks, who are like the other evolution of humans who evolved underground probably, and they're like kind of horrifying, but we don't get their perspective, so we don't really know what they're about, but we kind of get an idea from the scientists here. And yeah, those scenes were like when he was getting pawed at in the dark by those weird creatures. That was I wouldn't have liked to be there. So yeah, those are really well written. So overall it's all right, but I was just the main protagonist. Just I couldn't stand him. It's always a killer for me when that happens. Then I read The Gift from Alias, which is kind of a dystopian robot artificial intelligence story. I did a separate review for that, so I will link it down below. I enjoyed it. It's a novella, so it's not very long to read. The author is up and coming, so yeah, I would give him a try. So overall, like, I enjoyed it more than The Time Machine, because the protagonist was sweet. It's a nice, sweet robot. I love that. So yeah, I recommend it. Michael Collon, the name of the author is. And then I read Tower of Thorns by Juliette Merlier, which is the 2nd book in the trilogy called Blackthorn and Grimm. So I read the 1st book last year, or at the beginning of the year, yeah, last year, and now I wanted to finish the trilogy. I read the 3rd book in March, so I'll let you know in my wrap-up what I thought. I might do an actual review for the whole trilogy, a separate review, because I really enjoyed it overall. Juliette Merrill writes really wonderful medieval Ireland with fae mixed in, Tuatha De Danann, and probably the Fomori. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. And the main protagonist in this is Blackthorn. She's a very damaged woman. She's had some traumatic experiences in the past, and she's a healer and a wise woman, but she's kind of set on a revenge path, and that it's kind of the tug of war between, do I go on with my life, do I go on helping people, which is what she does, and living my life, or do I just get revenge? So, and we kind of understand why, because what happened to her is horrific. And she's accompanied by Grimm, who she met in prison when she was in prison. Like, the first scene in the 1st book is her escape from prison with Grimm, and they live through hell together. So they're friends, but they get, like, their relationship evolves over time, but really beautifully, like very slow, and I really love those 2 characters together. Like, Blackthorn is very prickly, very angry woman. She's also very, very intelligent and clever, and fiery, and Grimm is a bit more subdued, like he's not as well educated as she is, but he's such a big heart, like he's such a teddy bear. I love him so much. So yeah, it's their adventures. There's always a mystery at the heart of the book, and they have to solve the mystery and also grow as humans or get into trouble, or both. And in this one, the monster, there's a monster in a tower that screams all day long, shouts all day long, and it drives people and animals crazy. And there's kind of asked for help about that. So I'm not going to say much more. And we have Blackthorn and Grimm's perspective in all the books, and we also have always another protagonist, like the person at the heart of the mystery, really. And we don't really know what they're about. We don't really know if they're good or bad, but it's not that mysterious. Like, I think she could have been a bit more subtle about it. Maybe that wasn't her goal, but I wish we didn't have all those perspectives. We only had Blackthorn and Grimm, so that we actually have more of a mystery to unpack. But these books are just worth it because of those two main characters. They're just amazing. I love them. So I want to adopt them. And the setting, enchanting. So I gave this 3 stars just because the mystery and some of the plot was a bit less. No, I gave it 4 stars, sorry. I gave the first one 3 stars and this one 4 stars. So I always like when that's going like better and better. So yeah, definitely worth a try, this trilogy. It's just lovely. Then after that I read Tigana by Guy Gavriel Kay. It's part of my Guy Gavriel Kay project for the year. It was my first of the year. So I read The Fiona Bar Tapestry last year, which was my first Guy Gavriel Kay in years. And then I read this. This is a 4 stars. I did a separate review, so I'll just link it below if you want to know more. But overall, I enjoyed it. There are some irritants about the amount of characters and the lack of actual actions a bit much. Like it was a bit, yeah, it was getting a bit boring at times. But I did enjoy most of the characters. The resolution was a bit rushed in my opinion. However, for one of his first works is amazing. Like, so much potential. Like, I'm reading another book by his and it's a masterpiece. Beautiful. So yeah, definitely give this a try. I don't think I would start with Tigana. If I was reading Guy Gavriel Kay, I might start with something else, but for sure, like, it's worth a read. And yeah, I'll just watch the review if you want to know more. Then my second to last favorite book was Pawn's Gambit by Rob J. Hayes. So it's part of a trilogy. It's called the Mortal Techniques trilogy, and the first book is Never Die. I think it's pretty popular. I've read it like a few years ago and I just never continued with the trilogy for some reason, and I should have. It's so good. Like, the first book, Never Die, is really horrifying in some parts, and it's inspired by Asian literature, I would say. Probably like classic Asian literature, and it's set in a alternate reality, something looking like China when it was a lot of different kingdoms. And Pawn's Gambit is separate. Like, you can read the books from this trilogy in different orders, it doesn't matter. I think publication order is fine, especially since the main character in this was one that we met briefly in Never Die. So if you want to have that little tidbit there, like little Easter egg, like maybe you can read Never Die first, although it would work both ways. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one even more than Never Die. Like, I gave this 4 stars, but I like Never Die a bit less because the main character in this is just lovely. Like, the main character is a woman who used to be big. She used to have a very big purpose, a very big role in political life, and now she's just a washed up drunk trying to at the beginning kind of get money out of some silly men who play against her like chess or any other type of game, because she always wins. She's that's why it's called Pawn's Gambit. Like any game she will win. Like she has that ability, but she's just broken. Like she's given up basically. And there's a god that kind of has her own game going on in her own realm, and she comes down and kind of asks her to help in her game. So that's the start. I'm not gonna explain anything more, because it's kind of fun to discover along how it's gonna play out. But yeah, like it's kind of a big game of human chess. And the main character has a very good arc in this book, so I really loved it. And also all the other side characters are just great. They're fun, they're entertaining, so I had fun all through this book. Highly recommend, and I will definitely get to the Spirits of Vengeance, which is the third book this year. And then for my favorite book, I was shocked, because my favorite book in those 2 months was historical fiction, which is not usually what I read. Historical fiction for me is very hit or miss. So if I really love it, I love it. It's just sometimes like it falls flat for me. I like it when it's accurate to the historical period, but not too focused on the history. Like I like to have good characters as well and good plot. And sometimes I feel like it's either one or the other. Like they romanticize everything too much, or they just focus on the history and all their little details and they forget about plot and characters. But for the players, it's a perfect blend for me. I loved it. I listened to the audiobook by Emma Gregory, and the author is Minette Walters. So it's a second book in a duology, so I don't think you need to have read the first book to enjoy The Players by Minette Walters. And I have a dedicated review for this book as well, because it was an ARC that I got from NetGalley, so I'll just link it down below. If you like historical fiction, definitely check out the review. Also, if you like things like Regency romance, or if you like that type of, like, it has that type of vibe, but a bit more, I would say, elevated and less about the love story and more about the actual plot and history. It's kind of it feels a bit like a Mission Impossible almost, mixed with Regency romance, with a kind of a Jane Austen, Mr. Darcy-esque character, but a bit flawed. And then you have a very interesting also, like the first book is about the mother, and then the second book is about her son. So the mother is still there and she's great. She's like a healer, or she has a hospital, and she's really interesting for the time period. It's set in like the 17th century, so in England. So it's women in that time were not necessarily independent, but she is. And then there's another woman character, like the third. There's like 4 protagonists in this book, to my opinion. So she's one of it's an ensemble cast, and she's like a recluse with a disability, and she's like a human encyclopedia. She's really, really intelligent, but also difficult to approach. So the relationships developing in there, and also like the judge, who is he was called a hanging judge back then. Like he's a real character, and he gets a bit more of an arc, like I would say, in this. Like she takes liberties with his character, but she gives him a bit of a humanity that we don't have in history. So I like that. I enjoyed that character very much, like Judge Jeffries. he was funny and infuriating and kind of gross and all amazing and also pathetic. So yeah, that's a great character. So yeah, just go and see my review if you want to know more. So I think it was a bit rapid, frantic wrap up, but hopefully you enjoy it, and see you next time.